Have you seen the latest tonight? It's maybe the best. They're telling you that the Ukraine saga is actually about national security concerns. Watch.
That is classic abuse of power, which undermines our national security. This is as serious as it gets.
A president has put at risk our national security.
Our president sacrificed our national security.
This is a very serious matter of national security.
At the expense of our national security.
The President of the United States is willing to compromise national security.
The tipping point is clear. It was national security, full stop.
National security, says Ocasio-Cortez, who couldn't find Ukraine on a big, tight map. How did the president jeopardize our national security? By delaying, they say, military aid to Ukraine. That jeopardizes our national security. Yeah. If anything jeopardizes our national security, it's mindlessly sending military aid to Ukraine in order to antagonize Russia. What do we get out of that? Quick. What's the answer? Oh, there is no answer? Right. We don't get anything out of it at all. But, of course, no one in the press pauses for 30 seconds to question the core story at the bottom of this, which is we're sending close to $500 million in military aid to Ukraine. Because why? Because a couple neocons think we should? Please. But while we're at it, by the way, another thing that puts our national security at risk for real is when you make it impossible for the president, any president, to have private conversations with his counterparts in other countries, with other foreign leaders. Remember, the closest the world ever came to nuclear war was in 1962 during the Cuban Missile Crisis. How did that end? How did it de-escalate? Well, it ended when our president reached a deal with the Soviet president, Nikita Khrushchev, secretly. They made concessions to one another secretly. They couldn't have done it in any other way. If there were self-righteous leakers around in 1962, the world would have blown up. That's probably not an overstatement. So it's a huge problem if this president or any president can't proceed with the expectations that his phone calls, the core of his job, will remain private. And by the way, honestly, the Democratic Party really cares about national security, the party that won't enforce our border with Mexico, that refuses to import illegal aliens convicted of felonies? Yeah, they're really worried about national security. This has nothing to do with national security. That's the most annoying of all the lies. It's about power. It's a power grab. And by the way, say what you will about Tlaib and AOC and the rest of those hyper-aggressive freshmen, at least they're kind of honest about that. And there's something sort of nice about someone who's honest about his aims, even if those aims are disgusting and contemptible and scary, which power grabbing is. But at least you don't have to wade through a bunch of self-righteous air to get there. Bottom line, Democratic Party wants to pretend the 2016 election never happened and to make sure it can never happen again. As Washington expresses its fake concerns about national security, they can't even pretend to be worried about corruption at the highest levels. Nobody thinks Hunter Biden deserved hundreds of thousands of dollars for a no-show energy gig in Ukraine. But nobody seems upset that he got it anyway. Last week, for example, Joe Biden told Fox's Peter Doocy that this was all above board because he never talked with his son about what he did abroad. Watch.
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
And so how do you know?
Look, here's what I know. I know Trump deserves to be investigated. He is violating every basic norm of a president. You should be asking him the question, why is he on the phone with a foreign leader, trying to intimidate a foreign leader?
You should be asking him about what Hunter Biden was doing in Ukraine. Oh, wait. That's why they want to impeach him, because he asked about it. But the question is, as a factual matter, let's just, because this is a news channel, we will answer the question, the most basic one. Is Biden's claim true? Well, a photograph obtained exclusively by this show, not to brag, but we did, suggests that claim might not be true. The picture shows, it's on the screen, Biden on a 2014 golfing trip with his son, as well as his son Hunter's business partner, Devon Archer. At the time this picture was taken, both of them on the board of the Ukrainian energy company, Burisma.